Welcome back, everybody. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Great. Today we're going to be talking about a novel, um, Black Seagull by Renat Klein.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really drawn in by the whole, story within a story thing,
Mm.
spanning, decades and continents. So
Yeah.
much to unpack.
Yeah, and it's fiction, right?
Yeah.
But it's also, grounded in this real historical backdrop of, Jewish immigration from the Soviet Union to Israel. And I think that adds, a whole other layer of complexity to it.
Yeah, for sure. And it really got me thinking about how, these seemingly small choices can just ripple through generations, you know what I mean? How our decisions, our parents' decisions can have these lasting impacts on, our lives and our children's lives. That's what we're going to explore today.
That's the heart of it, I think. The consequences of choices
Hmm.
playing out over time. Klein does an amazing job, really showing how those individual decisions reverberate,
Yeah.
shaping not just the lives of the people who make them, but also their children, their grandchildren. It's all connected.
So let's dive into the first part of this story. Okay. We're starting in Minsk, 1973. We meet Galia and Raya, two sisters.
Right on the cusp of adulthood,
Okay.
finding their own paths.
Exactly. And their paths could not be more different.
Oh, for sure. Raya, the younger sister, she's full of this, youthful, daring.
Oh, yeah.
And she just elopes with Yuri, a non-Jewish naval officer.
Huge deal.
Huge. In a society where those lines, religious and cultural boundaries, they're so strictly enforced.
Yeah.
It's not just a romantic thing, This is an act of defiance.
Total rebellion. And her decision to marry outside her faith, causes this massive rift in her family, especially with her mother, Rosa. It's not even just defying expectations, it's challenging their entire society. But what really struck me was how resourceful Raya is in planning her escape.
Oh, absolutely. She uses everything to her advantage.
She even uses her upcoming 18th birthday as, a shield, right?
Oh.
Knowing that legally, once she's an adult, her family can't stop her.
That detail, it just tells you so much about her character. She's not just impulsive, she's smart, she's strategic, willing to use the system to her advantage.
And it's here we really see Galia, the older sister. Her loyalty and love for Raya are really, put to the test, right?
Yeah, good.
She helps with the escape even though it puts her own safety at risk.
It makes you wonder, wouldn't you say? How far would any of us go for family?
Right.
Would you risk everything, your own safety, your future, just to help a loved one get out of a bad situation?
And I can't even imagine, the emotional toll, right? Carrying that secret, knowing that you played a part in something that could have these huge consequences.
It's a heavy burden to bear, for sure. And the novel, I think, captures that so well.
Yeah.
The tension, the secrecy surrounding their actions, the constant fear of being found out.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about a time and a place where even whispers could have dangerous consequences.
So we see this courageous escape, but we're also left wondering, what's the impact going to be? How will this shape Raya's future? What about Galia, who stayed behind? How will this affect her life?
Big questions. And I think those are the questions that kind of linger in our minds as we move forward in the book,
Yeah.
Fast forward to 2009. We're in Haifa, Israel now. And we meet Tamara, Galia's daughter. She's a forensic researcher, which I thought was so interesting.
I know, right?
It's is that just a career choice? Or is it connected to her family's past in some way?
I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
Almost like she's drawn to these hidden truths, maybe because of all the secrets that have shaped her own family.
And speaking of secrets, Tamara's personal life is a bit of a mystery, too. We meet Ephraim, a truck driver, and he's clearly smitten with her.
Yeah.
But she's hesitant, almost afraid to let him in.
Yeah, she's holding back.
And I think that hesitation, it goes back to her family history, wouldn't you say? Can you blame her for being cautious?
No, not at all.
With his legacy of, a risky escape, a family fractured by choices made in the past, it's bound to make someone wary of taking a chance, even on love.
Makes total sense. And then she gets this opportunity to pursue a postdoctoral fellowship, and she jumps at it. It makes you wonder, is she running towards something or running away from something?
Maybe a little of both.
Right.
I mean, it's a new opportunity, a chance to start fresh. But it could also be a way to escape her personal life, to avoid confronting those deeper issues.
It's like she's embarking on this journey that's both professional and really personal, right?
Yeah.
One that could lead her to uncover truths about herself as well as the world around her.
Absolutely. But before we go any further with Tamara, the novel takes us back in time again, back to 1978. back to Minsk.
Okay.
And we're focusing on Galia, now a young mother,
Mm-hmm.
and she's dealing with a whole new set of challenges.
Like what?
Well, she's experiencing that isolation, the pressures of being a mom in this very restrictive society.
Mm.
And there's this constant anxiety, like she's waiting for something she's dreading, but also anticipating at the same time.
So much tension already.
Oh, yeah. And then we meet Mark, Galia's husband. And he's such a contrast to her.
Yeah.
He's jovial, excited about this Navy Day parade in Kronstadt. It's like he's oblivious to the weight she's carrying.
It's like they're living in two different worlds.
Exactly. And then we get this little hint, this little tidbit about Mark's past connection to someone who played a role in Raya's escape. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. How does this all fit together?
Yeah, the plot thickens.
It does. And we also start to see those ripple effects of the escape,
Yeah.
Gali gets his letter from Raya. And let's just say it hints that things aren't so rosy anymore. It's a reminder that even choices made with good intentions can have unintended consequences.
The excerpt from the letter that we get in the book is like heartbreaking. Raya talks about how her marriage, it's not the fairy tale she imagined.
Oh, yeah.
She describes Yuri's behavior as volatile, hints at abuse, control, and her desperation just jumps off the page, She wants out, wants to protect herself and her children.
It's such a stark contrast from the Raya we saw earlier,
Yeah.
the carefree young woman who eloped. Now she's trapped in this nightmare she never could have predicted.
It really makes you think, can we ever really know the full consequences of our choices? What happens when the path we choose leads us somewhere we never wanted to be?
It's a lot to process.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of this book,
Yeah.
It makes you think, makes you question, makes you feel.
It definitely does. So are you ready to delve deeper into this family saga?
Absolutely. Let's see what awaits us in 2009. I have a feeling things are about to get even more complicated.
So many questions, right? Like, where does Tamara's fellowship take her? What's going on with Raya and Yuri?
Yeah, so many threads left hanging.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Klein doesn't leave us hanging for long. We're back in 2009.
Okay.
This time it's a big family gathering. Galia and Mark's parents are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. You'd think it'd be all happy, celebratory.
Right.
But there's this, underlying tension, You can just feel it. And then Yuri shows up.
Oh, wow. Talk about awkward. The guy who caused so much drama all those years ago just pops in for a piece of cake.
Right. I mean, imagine being in that room, all that history, the unspoken resentments, like a powder keg just waiting to blow. And it does.
Oh.
Big time. Mark just loses it. He and Yuri have this huge confrontation. I mean, Mark refuses to even acknowledge him,
That's intense.
It is. It really shows how deep those wounds run. Some things you just can't forgive,
Yeah.
It makes you think about how the choices we make, they don't just affect us, right? They affect everyone around us, sometimes forever.
Heavy stuff. And then, just when you think things can't get any more intense, Tamara gets called in on this murder investigation.
Yeah, in Vladivostok, of all places.
It's like the past is literally reaching out to grab her,
I know, right? And it's here that the story takes this really fascinating turn. Tamara, this forensic researcher, she's suddenly thrown right into the heart of her family history. It's like her personal life and her professional life are colliding.
I can't even imagine stepping off a plane into this completely different world, a foreign legal system, and then on top of it, all this emotional baggage from her family.
It's a lot to handle, that's for sure. But Tamara, she's driven. She's got this need to find out the truth, to unravel all the secrets that have been haunting her family for years.
So what happens? What does she uncover?
Well, she starts digging into the case, and she starts to notice things don't quite add up. There's a suicide note, but something about it just feels off. And Tamara, with her, forensic eye, she picks up on these tiny little clues that everyone else seems to have missed.
She's like a detective in a novel.
Exactly.
What?
And get this, the lead investigator in Vladivostok, the guy in charge of the case, turns out to be Sasha Shulgin. Remember him? The guy from Mark's past, the one who supposedly made that anti-Semitic comment.
No way. Are you serious? What are the chances?
Right. It's like Klein is weaving this tapestry, connecting all these different threads. The past isn't just something that happened, It's alive, it's present, it's shaping everything.
It makes you wonder if it's fate, Was Tamara meant to be on this case in this place, confronting these ghosts from her family's past?
It's definitely a question worth pondering. And as Tamara goes deeper into the investigation, she stumbles upon some secrets. Big ones. Remember that flashback to 1968, the scene on the Black Seagull?
With Mark and Sasha and that sailor Ivan.
Yes. That scene is so important because it reveals why Mark and Yuri have so much animosity. It shows us the deep-seated prejudices of the time and how they poisoned personal relationships.
It's like a reminder that sometimes these small events, these seemingly insignificant moments, can have lasting repercussions, especially when they're fueled by hate and prejudice.
Right. And on the flip side, we get this glimpse of Sasha's character. He actually stepped in to protect Mark, even though it could have jeopardized his own career.
So maybe he's not such a bad guy after all.
Exactly. It shows you that people are complicated, you know? Nobody is just one thing. We're all capable of both good and bad.
I like that.
It definitely makes you think. And then there's the whole thing with the suicide note, right? Cameron discovers it was written on a page torn from a notebook.
Whose notebook?
Olga's, the young woman who died all those years ago.
Oh, wow. That's heartbreaking.
It is. It adds this whole other layer of tragedy to the story. It's not just a murder investigation anymore. It's about loss, about grief, about the enduring power of memory.
So how does Tamara handle all of this?
Well, she's got Serioza, her colleague, helping her. And he becomes really important. He's not just a partner in solving the crime. He helps her understand the culture, the way things work in Russia, which is a whole different ballgame.
No, definitely. So they're like a team now.
They are. And as they work together, they start to open up to each other, sharing their vulnerabilities. It's like they're both searching for something, some kind of truth that goes beyond the case itself.
And what about that dream Tamara has on the plane? The one where she's falling?
Oh, that's a good one. It's full of symbolism, almost like it's foreshadowing the challenges she's about to face. Her subconscious is trying to prepare her, and that part where Yuri catches her as she's falling.
Creepy. Especially considering what we later learn about him.
Right. Klein uses dreams so effectively, to give us these glimpses into the character's hidden fears and desires. And it adds this layer of suspense because you're left wondering, okay, how are those fears going to play out in reality? Isn't it? And have you noticed how she manages to weave all these different storylines together? It's like this intricate tapestry where every thread, every character, every event is connected in a meaningful way.
It's impressive.
It really is. And just when you think you're starting to understand the full picture, bam, another twist, another secret is revealed. It's like a constant reminder that we never really know the whole story, do we?
Nope.
We just get these little fragments, little glimpses into people's lives. And it's up to us to try and make sense of it all.
To connect the dots, to understand the complexities of human nature.
Exactly. It's challenging for sure, but also really rewarding. And that's what Klein invites us to do in Black Seagull.
Things are getting really complicated now. It's like, who do you trust,
Right. Tamara's finding out all these secrets, and it's like every layer she peels back brings her closer to some uncomfortable truths, especially about her family.
It's got to be so hard, like trying to piece together this puzzle when the pieces are, your own family history. And then there's Yuri. Like, how do you even begin to understand a guy like that?
He's a tough one, that's for sure. Remember when Tamara questions him? It's not just an interrogation. It's like this clash of perspectives.
Oh, yeah.
He's so manipulative. Even though he's a suspect in a murder investigation, he's trying to play the victim card.
He's good at it, too. Like when he brings up Mark and Raya and suggests there was something more going on between them.
I know. Total bombshell. And it really makes you wonder if maybe he's right.
Right. Like, is he just trying to deflect blame, or is there some truth to what he's saying?
Tamara doesn't buy it completely. She can sense he's hiding something, trying to control the narrative.
It's like she's torn between wanting to believe in her family and facing the possibility that they're capable of, doing some pretty messed up things.
Exactly. And then he drops another bombshell. Raya's pregnancy. He even suggests the baby might not have been his.
Wow. That's huge.
It's like her whole world is crumbling around her. Imagine finding out that your entire family history is built on a lie. It makes you question everything, your identity, your relationships, everything.
Black Seagull doesn't shy away from those feelings, does it? It's like, we're right there with Tamara as she tries to process it all. And it makes you think about your own family, What secrets are they keeping? What truths have been hidden from you?
Right. It makes you wonder, what if everything you thought you knew about your life was a lie?
Yeah, that's scary.
But even amidst all the darkness and deception, there are these moments of, real humanity. Remember when we see Raya trying to escape Yuri's control?
Yeah.
It shows how strong she is, how determined she is to protect her kids.
Even if it means sacrificing her own happiness.
Exactly. It's a reminder that we all have the power to break free from toxic situations, to choose a different path, even when it seems impossible.
And then there's that scene when Tamara and Serioza discover how Svetlana died. that she used a page from her daughter's notebook to write her suicide note. Oh, that one kills me every time. It's so sad. It just shows you the depth of her despair, how much she was hurting after losing her child. And it also shows how cruel Yuri was, how little he cared about her pain.
It's a good reminder, though, isn't it? Even in the darkest moments, there's still love, still humanity.
Definitely. And you see that in Tamara, too. She doesn't give up, She confronts Yuri, challenges his version of events. She's not letting the past silence her.
She's finding her voice, demanding justice for Svetlana. And for herself, I think.
Absolutely. And then things start to shift. Mark emails Tamara.
Really? What does he say?
He kind of confesses, admits to his mistakes, how he contributed to the mess that their family has become.
Wow. So he's finally taking responsibility.
He is. And it opens the door for forgiveness, for healing. Tamara, she chooses to forgive him. It's a beautiful moment.
It is. It shows that even after all the pain, all the betrayals, there's still hope for reconciliation. And then that last scene with Tamara and Ephraim watching the sunset.
Yeah, that's hopeful, right? It is. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, they have a chance at a happy ending.
It's like love wins in the end.
Black Seagull, wow, what a journey. Secrets, betrayal, forgiveness, hope, it's all in there.
It's one of those stories that sticks with you. It makes you think about your own choices, your own family, and how the past shapes the present.
If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's a powerful story about family, secrets, and the things we do for love. And on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive, but don't worry, we'll be back soon with another fascinating story.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep those book lights burning.